try to do the Q&A today, but look at my phone.
It's busted.
Oh my
God. I'll do it anyway. My girl smashed it.
Why?
Because I'm a scumbag. One thing about Tyra is that he's always complaining about how something on his body hurts at all times. So let's see how many instances of this we can notice. My back's starting to feel a little better. I bet I can fuck it up today.
Sick as hell.
So we're
Does that shit really annoy you when people Snapchat you questions?
Yes. I don't like have my sound on 99% of the time when I'm like looking at Snapchat, and I don't really like look at the snaps people send me anyway, but once in a while I'll land on it and it'll be like an important question. It'll be like, I ordered a bike and it's not here yet and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, Snapchat is not an okay place to say this. Like, I probably am not going to see it in the first place, number one. Number two, I'm not qualified to handle this. Number three, it's like, how am I supposed to get in contact with you? Like, how am I supposed to save your username? To be honest, if you want to get in touch with me, email, Twitter, Facebook are good. Instagram, no, because I don't read my own comments on Instagram. It's a lot of stress, like dealing with people trying to get in touch with you in all kinds of stupid ways, and you know that there's all those messages coming in and that you just can't even begin to interact with them. But then that's the weird thing too, is if you complain about it online, people inevitably be like, oh, you're so full of yourself. Why, you don't care about your fans, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, fine. I'll never complain about this again. Yeah.
To be famous and tatted. I'm about to get a clip.
Yep.
We do the loop-de-loop and pole, SpongeBob style.
What are these pants? Ribbed for her pleasure. I could touch this all day. People need to know that the way to ride like a pro is to buy some really cheap joggers from the mall.
Christmas presents, I don't buy it.
Yeah, we had a lot of questions actually. Let me find a good one. Higgs is the new webisode king.
Hey, shout out to that guy.
Dante_Ianetta. I want to know why Began hasn't released anything in a long time. Well, if you've noticed, nobody on OSS has released anything in a long time, really, like anything serious. So far be it from me to sneak peeks at anything that's coming out, but I would say that in 2016, we're gonna make moves. We're gonna make a lot of moves, actually. So we're not hyping our shit up. We're not fucking letting anybody know what's coming. We're just working. Ryan Enjoys Bikes said, do you have aspirations of putting out BMX parts? No. Zip Zero. Stingy with De Niro. That's a good way to lose money these days. Does Tyra have any parts coming from Colt in 2016?
Parts or video parts?
Let's talk bike parts for now.
We haven't discussed this topic yet, but
Robbie's got his hands full. I can see it happening. Hey, what's your favorite park in Michigan?
Transition skate park.
What else does John Hicks film besides riding? Rappers and babes in bikinis?
What's your motivation to get all your tattoos?
I'm mentally unstable. I always wanted tattoos since I was a little kid. I don't think back then I was like capable of putting too much thought into why I wanted to get tattoos. I always wanted them then. But now when I think about it, I don't know. Yimzus said, how much weed do you smoke on the daily? I'd say I average about 2-3 blunts, unless it's the weekend, and then it might be a lot more blunts. Oh shit, we got 111 on the IG. Hey, my Instagram is @Adam22. But I have 111 comments already, so bar to nose manual to whip. That's not a question. Why are backwards the preferred rolling apparatus? Well, let me just tell you, once you get used to them, the switches just don't feel the same anymore, man. They're too thick, too cardboardish. Backwards feel a little bit more natural, man. I'm not saying that they're perfect or anything. What was your first BMX? I had a Schwinn Powermatic in 1998. I think I replaced that within like a year and a half for a Volume Destroyer, which was Jason Enz's signature frame at the time. Incredibly overbuilt, and I had a motorcycle chain. Because I didn't know how to put my bike together, the motorcycle chain was rubbing against the seat stay, and it wore a hole in it, but because the frames were so bulky, it didn't even matter. Jesse Garcia 815, whip ice bar. Another trick that not only could I not do, but no one could do. I don't want to say no one, but pretty close.
Hey, check out my kickflips, Adam.
Hey. Bengen_Jelvik. Did Mikey Tyra do switch bars from the beginning? You're gonna have to ask him for the official answer, but I believe that he did learn them switch, and that's why a lot of times you'll see him do switch bars like in certain situations, you know? Matt_Tokarski. What got you into BMX? To be honest, it was just all the fucking scuzzy little kids in the neighborhood. That was just what everybody was kind of doing to be able to get out and get around town, and it seemed cool to me. I got interested in like looking at magazines and videos and stuff like that, and it just sort of, I think when you're young, you're looking for an identity, you know? You want something to belong to, and I saw BMX as kind of a like-minded group of people that were into the same sort of values that I had, which is to say, not much. Have you ever slept with your bike? No. Well, okay, yeah. Actually, like, there's been times where I was like on the road in like Europe or some shit, and I ended up having to sleep with like my legs tangled up in my bike so that nobody could steal it, so that it would wake me up if somebody tried to get it. What's the fattest chick you've banged? You don't want to know, bro. You do not want to know. Is Catfish really a rapist? I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, yes. Hey, Mikey. White Trash Potato Mash said, what's your favorite place to ride and what's your favorite trick?
Favorite trick? My favorite place to ride, any kind of street, anywhere.
Opinions on Flatland, Charlie Scutt. I fuck with Flatland, man. I always wish that I was good enough to ride Flatland because I always thought it was cool as hell. And that's why I don't like when people talk shit about like us riding flat ledges and flat rails and stuff. It's like, Flatland's cool. Why does everybody have to be putting their life on the line? You could just ride a little flat rail. Did Mikey land the 360 from the Kill Donald Trump webisode? They're talking about the nose manual of the 3. No, he did not yet. Hey, someone said they want to see me do a feeble hard. I haven't done one in like 2 months because my back's all fucked up, but I feel like I probably could.
Do it.
You want to see feeble hard? You've been rapping all your life and you still ain't make a hit. You ready? You know they did the Vital Game of Bike here and it didn't seem like anybody was having a hard time, but I've never been able to spin anything on these.
Hey.
Right there. That part feels better.
Working on something, trying to figure some sheet out.
Second try. Whoop. Face.
All right, ice, kickflip this whole rail.
Charlie.Scutt. Why do you think people hate kickflips? Well, I think people hate kickflips because everybody, well not everybody, but like a lot of people want to make BMX into some weird ass, like serious ass shit where everything's like a dead man rail or a fucking 10-foot air. So they're scared of like tricks that are just fun. Young kids love kickflips because they're young and they just want to have fun with their friends and they just like doing tricks. Then you see salty ass industry dudes that are like trying to protest them. But that's all right because they're just fucking, you want to alienate yourself from the kids, just talk shit about all the tricks they do. This is a guaranteed way to make sure that nobody gives a fuck about your dumbass old man opinion. Hey!
Have fun, kids. Get it!
Pinned a problem. Adam, doing a Bubaka. No. What's your opinion on Adam LZ? Shit, that's my son. Proud of him. I'm proud of everything he accomplished. I heard people say that Adam LZ doesn't get kids into BMX. He just did a jam at Joyride, like 600 kids came. Adam LZ, you know, he's like a totally different person than me, but I respect him a lot because he really does bring in a lot of people into BMX that would not be attracted to it normally. So to me, LZ that's the homie. Sometimes he's young, he doesn't always know what to say. I can never hate on a fucking young entrepreneur in BMX unless I had a really good reason. And as of yet, I don't really see any really good reasons, except for the fact that he's different from a lot of BMX kids. But it's like, we don't all have to be the same, you know, we can all get along.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Go!
What's a BMX trick that you find impossible that you extremely / kinda have a fetish for? I see Jake Seeley doing like X-up crooked grinds and shit lately, and that to me is just the illest shit. But I can never imagine being able to do a fucking crooked grind with my arms X'd up, so.
I don't know, can't get it right.
Why did you start NoJumper.com? Why aren't you focused on TCU TV? I do TCU TV every single week. Lately with No Jumper, I haven't been riding because my back's fucked up, so I've just kind of been like having more time to focus on doing like interviews with people outside of BMX. But I'm still putting out a fucking podcast every week on the BMX side of things, so what the fuck are you guys complaining about? I hate when people say that. It actually gets on my nerves. I will block you. Because it's like, yo, I'm doing a BMX podcast every single week, which as far as I've noticed is like 100 times more than fucking everybody else in BMX. So if you appreciate the podcast, fucking appreciate them and don't worry about what I'm doing. If I'm interviewing somebody that you don't know about, that you don't like, don't worry about it. It's not related to you. But in terms of the BMX stuff, we're doing this shit weekly for as long as we could look into the future, so don't worry about it, you fucking little scumbag.
Why y'all hating, man? Let Adam live.
A lot of people want to know why I started the come up. Well, just so you know, for all you YouTube kids out there that don't have the frame of reference, in 2006 when I started the come up, there were like no BMX websites. It was pretty much the first BMX blog. And it was right around the time that everybody started to put videos on YouTube and MySpace and stuff. And it just occurred to me in my little pea brain, like, there needs to be a blog that documents all the shit that's going on, because nobody was really showing off. Like, the new Animal trailer would come out on YouTube, but none of the websites would post it. Like, there was only like 1 or 2 websites anyway, but nobody would post it. So I was like, I gotta make a website for this. Still to this day, we hold the fucking crown in terms of being the #1 place to go to find out about BMX. thecomeup.com/BMX fucks with me.
Very nice.
Hey,
I remember checking the come up when I was like 15, the very first BMX website that I knew about. And it's always pretty much been the best since then.
Is the OSS strapped with guns? No, we do not mess around with that stuff. If I need a gun in the building because there's a situation, I gotta place a call. I gotta get one of my homies to be like, yo, you gotta come through because I do a lot of bad things. The last thing I need is a fucking strap in my lap. Hey, one more. Are you ever gonna do a video with Boker? I would love to. So Josh and Boker, the crew, they should come hang out because I like those guys and I like what they're doing, so. Question for Tyra, how much ass did you eat in 2015?
A few.
I know, at least a few. I've seen him talking about a few. How often do you eat ass? As much as possible. Duh. I'm from the streets.
Kind of savage, doesn't enjoy eating some booty.
Ugh, favorite. It's for the riders, it's for the filmers. Who's the most annoying and who's the most fun to ride with? The most fun to ride with is just the one who's the best at riding so that we can get the tricks done real quick and go home. So probably Adam22. Will we ever see a Steve Crandall TCU TV? Catfish said it was happening, so it's not in my hands. Catfish said he's going to make it happen soon, so hopefully next time Crandall's out here. Will Adam22 ever ride scooters? No. I think that I can safely say that I'm going to avoid that trend.
What about the two-wheel hoverboards?
See, I've never actually even tried one of those. I want to try that. It seems really fun.
They're fun as shit.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I don't want it on camera, but if... Oh. A lot of people want to see me do a bar spin.
Oh, you know Peter Smith knows? You see this bar spin?
Oh, all right. Ready?
Yes.
Ooh, first try. Bow, bow.
That was good, yeah?
Yeah, it was a nose bonk, but whatever. What do you expect?
All right, I'm gonna go back to the tweets.
You were up in the lines, dog. You were right there. I was like, looking at your camera while I was barring. I was like,
You just got it?
Awesome shit. I fuck with that podcast heavy. Love all your interviews. But my question just for you is, what was the most favorite interview that you've done so far on the podcast?
My favorite ones, BMX-wise, I would probably have to go to the night where we did Edwin De La Rosa and Hoder and Corey Nastasio first, like in the same night. That was just such a ridiculous night, and those dudes are like totally the biggest legends in BMX to me. Like Nastasio, one of the biggest dirt legends of all time. Edwin, like the biggest street legend of all time. Biggest influence on me for sure. So that was a bizarre night. And in terms of No Jumper, one that stands out a lot to me was the Suicide Boys interview because I didn't know that much about them as people, but then I did the interview and just realized that they were like amazing dudes. When I look at the fucking numbers that interview's doing, it's crazy. I feel like a lot of people related to it and a lot of people got a lot out of it, and I get hit up every fucking day, all day. Also, I would shout out the Puya one and the Ian Connor, Shane Gonzalez one too, because it's like the same thing. Like I get hit up like multiple times a day with people just being like, yo, that interview inspired me so much. Like Shane Gonzalez, I saw him at a party the other day. He goes, yo, you know I get hit up all day, every day by people telling me that interview changed their life, right? And I was like, yeah, right. He pulls out his phone, goes to Twitter, and just immediately starts showing me like mad different people saying it in a row. So I got to tell you, that's kind of a crazy feeling to be able to feel like you like actually inspired people just by having a good conversation on camera. So would Stevie have beaten Sean Ricani if Sean didn't do tire ride tricks? Well, that's a good question. But another question, would Stevie have beaten Sean if Sean was better at doing hop whips to frame? They both went into their own bags of tricks, so I don't know. What's your favorite trick? Downside ice and ice pick grinds and just a feeble grind? Probably it, dude.
Let's see all three of those right now.
I could do it. What am I gonna ice pick?
I don't know.
I could downside ice the grind and do a feeble grind.
Freestyle.
I told you, man, that fucking edge, it always catches you.
ice chink? I seen it. I'm not gonna do one though. I can't.
Pussy nigga.
Another one. Who's your favorite old school rider? I want to give a shout out to Ralph Sinisi because he's kind of old and he like has been one of my favorites since I was real young, but he always reminds me when I watch his footage, like, you don't have to keep up on the tricks that everybody else is doing. You can just do the same types of shit that you've always been into, and you don't gotta keep up. You just gotta be able to grind some shit.
Yes, Ralph is the real OG.
Ralph's my dude. That's who I'm talking about. Hey. What are your top 3 guests you'd want to interview on No Jumper? I'll take, off the top of my head, Chief Keef, Danny Brown, ASAP Rocky. Two horrible questions. Number 1, how do you convince yourself to do scary stuff? Do I seem like I've convinced myself to do a lot of scary stuff? Maybe like not wearing a condom. That was pretty scary. Next one.
Every time.
How was Coachella? Do I look like I go to fucking music festivals? Once I get my stock up and I start getting the artist passes and shit, then you'll see me at a fucking Coachella. So is it gang or squad? Gang, ain't none of that squad. Duh. John Hicks can do a camera bag video. That's funny because you were the only one who didn't do it in that one podcast. Who's the virgin of the squad?
Me.
No.
I know.
I've never seen Dylan Lloyd get his dick wet. He says it's because he has a girlfriend, and because he's a virgin. I don't know. How many girls have you fucked without a condom? Too many. Let's not talk about that.
Jesus.
What was your favorite video to film? And shout out to the NJ riders. Well, yeah, shout out to the New Jersey riders. My favorite video to film probably, my favorite video overall was Ruin Your Whole Summer. I liked it as like a total package. First thing that come to mind when I say best riders in BMX, Garrett Reynolds, duh. Alex Donachie's up there. Chad, Steve, etc. Rick Haney. What's your Snapchat? OnSomeShit.com. Holler at me. How tall are you guys? 6'3". Why doesn't John Hicks ride in any of the webisodes? Give him an edit. Have Charlie Crumlish or Began film or something. Yeah?
Not a bad idea, kiddo.
How old are all you nigs? That's a nice way of putting it. Scott Porter _
Nigs.
Best setup you've ever had? Probably my Eastern Grim Reaper. I broke it in a couple months, but it was fun while it lasted. It was really light. At what age did Stevie Churchill realize he was a gorilla? Probably when Jane Goodall came to him and said, hey, you're a gorilla. I want to take you to the jungle and watch over you and take notes about your behavior. It's probably when he realized he was a gorilla. John Hicks needs a full-length edit filmed and edited by John Hicks. Self-filmed. Why are you so afraid of dogs? I'm not afraid of dogs. I just don't really fuck with dogs that much. I find them kind of annoying. They're like always in my face bothering me and shit. I like chill animals. I like cats. One time this dog like really fucked up my day and I've really been annoyed by them ever since. Like I like a lot of dogs. There's just a lot of dogs that are in your face bothering you and they won't let you just get some head or something. Like they gotta get in your face and shit. I don't know. What's your opinion on trail riders? I like them because trail riders are the biggest assholes. They're out in the woods. They don't want to fuck with anybody. They don't hang out with anybody. So I can kind of relate to the trail riders on that sort of thing, They just want to be left alone. I just want to be left alone. Leave me the fuck alone. How many girls have you banged at once? 2, but you're starting to make me feel like kind of a wuss for not having more. Do you have any respect for scooter riders? Yes, I do. I don't have any problem with the scooter riders. We can make fun of them a little bit, but I mean, everybody's just out here having fun. I'm old as shit, so to me now it's like, you ride a scooter, who gives a fuck? All right, we're gonna do a couple more here, the last spot. Okay, a couple questions for John Hicks. What editing software do you use?
What editing software do I use? I use Adobe Premiere. Don't really like it, but it's a standard.
Good. I use Final Cut X, the one everybody hates. John Hicks, how big is your Johnson?
God, Jesus Christ.
Huge, I've seen it. Kids are so confused. They say, what do you think of Adam LZ when you interviewed him for No Jumper? For the record, No Jumper is a non-BMX podcast, so that is the podcast that I did not interview Adam LZ for. What does Began's hair smell like? Dog shit and bed bugs. What happens when Adam22 and the other boys' parts break? How long do they have to wait to be hooked up by their sponsors? Well, I don't have a sponsor, but for Began or Mikey or whatever, they'd probably just... We would just go to tip or go to fit or go, just head through and be like, yo, Moeller, I need some forks. I broke my fucking S&M forks. Well, actually, these are animal forks, but, probably something like that. Just stop by. Where do you see TCU and OSS in a couple of years? Still on top. Still number one, quite frankly. Taking BMX to the masses and showing what we do to a lot more people. To come up, it's going to stay the hardcore website that it is. But in terms of OSS, I could see, like, a lot more people knowing about it, us getting the word out to a lot more people. How did you become friends with Xavier Wulf? Tony Maloof told me to listen to Bones, and then I listened to Bones. He came through, Chris Travis, Xavier, and Eddie, and we got along with all of them. I didn't really even know that they were like big, well-known rappers kind of at the time, but then Xavier was dating a girl who lived down the street from the store, so he would like not want to go all the way back to where he was staying at Bones' place in Burbank, so he would just come hang out at the store. So it was like at like noon or like 1 every day, you could pretty much expect Xavier to be coming through like, hey, what's up? Like, I do this really good impersonation in the store of what it's like when he walks into a room. But yeah, so he would come through, and then that's how we actually became friends. Aside from like, if you just hang out with like a rapper dude like at his shows when he's in the fucking rapper mind state, you probably never really get to know him. But because he was just coming through the store hanging out all the time, we became like actual friends. So craziest trick you saw in 2015? Colin Varniak switch feeble to inside hard way 180 to fakie switch pegs to fakie bar. Maybe, that was pretty crazy. Garrett Reynolds, bar backlash, switch pegs down a rail. 8th grade, well, I just got a mountain bike. I only rode it for like 6 months before I got a BMX bike, but there was this like dirt jump at the bottom of a big ass hill, and like we were all riding on the hill, and I was like too new to riding BMX. I'm like 13, so I didn't know that like you can't just hit this dirt jump without knowing what the fuck you're doing, and I just like went so fast and just hit it and didn't, I don't know what I thought was gonna happen, but I definitely did like 2 backflips and smashed my head on the ground and broke my collarbone super bad, and it was just
2 backflips.
I don't remember, but I think I spun around 2 times in the air before I smashed my fucking brain on the ground. You gotta understand that this is like, I'm 13, I didn't even know how to bunny hop yet, and for some reason I just like sent it on this thing, but it wasn't like I sent it like I kind of knew it was gonna happen. I really did not think about it. I don't know what it was. Like I was so young and stupid, but either way I still got a fucking gnarly scar on my shoulder. It sucks. Craziest concert you've been a part of? Two come to mind. It was like the Seshola Waterboys show the other day, like a month ago in Santa Ana. That one was pretty fucking live. I just couldn't believe how many people were there. It was like 1,400 people or some shit. And I also always think of Converge at Metal Fest in like 2003, because that's like the most violence I've ever seen anywhere ever. So like 100 fights in the course of like a 30-minute set. It was so fucked. What motivates you the most when you ride with your homies? I don't know. Honestly, like when I'm not hurt or when I feel like capable, I just feel motivated to ride, because like if my body feels all right, it's like there ain't nothing. I don't give a fuck about my body hurting for any other reason. Like I could be in a fucking wheelchair and it doesn't matter, because all I'm gonna do is sit on my fucking computer and like do podcasts and like all this shit. So, you know, if I got like an ounce of fucking energy left, I might as well go fucking hurt myself riding. I guess I get hurt too much, so it sucks. But where does the 22 come from? I answered this question way too many fucking times. When I was 15, I made a live journal, which is kind of like it was like Twitter back then, or like a blogging service back then. I just had to pick a name, and 22 was just the first number that popped into my head, and I've been stuck with it for life. Stop asking me this fucking question. I already answered it 100,000 times. John Hicks has to take off. This might be the end of this webisode. It's the first time we ever tried to mix the webisode and the Q&A, so you guys can let us know what you think, if you learned anything. Maybe we could do this with like not me on the next one. We could like have the rider answering questions.
Yeah. I'm
While
down.
filming, that'd be sick.
Oh yeah, like in between tries and stuff, super out of breath. That'd be cool. Hey, 3 miles per hour, so everybody sees you.
Facts.
Shout out to Maurice Wesley
Facts.
for coming through.
Hey, wait, get a clip before I dip out.
Yeah,
Do that
yeah, what the
flatline. Get it.
Slaughter your data. Subscribe to the channel. Ha!